Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another chapter of Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj's I Am That. And today we will be looking at chapter 39, by itself, Nothing Has Existence. As I listen to you, I find that it is useless to ask you questions. Whatever the question, you invariably turn it upon itself and bring me to the basic fact that I am living in illusion of my own making, and that reality is inexpressible in words. Words merely add to the confusion, and the only wise course is the silent search within. After all, it is the mind that creates illusion, and it is the mind that gets free of it. Words may aggravate illusion. Words may also help dispel it. There is nothing wrong in repeating the same truth again and again until it becomes reality. Mother's work is not over with the birth of the child. She feeds it day after day, year after year, until it needs her no longer. People need hearing words until facts speak to them louder than words. So, until the fact is speaking to us louder than words, we need these words. We need to be reminded. We listen, we remember, and we ponder these truths. God is the totality of consciousness. There is variety and difference, but no separation. You are not a person. You are not what you think yourself to be. You are not the conceptual self, the imagined self. You are neither perceivable nor conceivable, but that which makes all perception possible. These are all the words of Nisargadatta Maharaj. Sometimes we need to hear them over and over again to recondition the conditioning, to wake us up to that which we are and that which we cannot not be. Your answer is always the same. It cannot be helped. Just like the one sun is reflected in 1 billion dewdrops, so is the timeless endlessly repeated. When I repeat, I am, I merely assert and reassert an ever-present fact. You get tired of my words because you do not see the living truth behind them. Contact it, and you will find the full meaning of words and of silence, both. So it's not just about repeating another concept. I am. It's what's prior to the words I am. It's the sense of I amness, the sense of beingness, the sense of awareness and aliveness and presence, which is always and already here. It's always and already the case. The mind is consciousness in motion, and consciousness is the conditioned aspect of the self. The unconditioned is another aspect, and beyond lies the abyss of the absolute. Quite right. You have put it beautifully. But these are mere words to me. Hearing and repeating them is not enough. They must be experienced. Nothing stops you but preoccupation with the outer, which prevents you from focusing the inner. It cannot be helped. You cannot skip your sadhana, your spiritual practice. You have to turn away from the world and go within until the inner and the outer merge, and you can go beyond the conditioned, whether inner or outer. Surely, the unconditioned is merely an idea in the conditioned mind. By itself, it has no existence. By itself, nothing has existence. Everything needs its own absence. To be is to be distinguishable, to be here and not there, to be now and not then, to be thus and not otherwise. Like water is shaped by the container, so is everything determined by conditions or gunas. As water remains water regardless of the vessels, as light remains itself regardless of the colors it brings out, so does the real remain real regardless of conditions in which it is reflected. Why keep the reflection only in the focus of consciousness? Why not the real itself? So water is always water. You, regardless of this container, this body, you are always the absolute supreme reality. You are always the Parabrahman. You are always pure being, pure awareness, pure consciousness, pure spirit, pure potentiality, truth, beauty, goodness, unconditional love. To know that consciousness and its content are but reflections, changeful and transient, is the focusing of the real. The refusal to see the snake in the rope is the necessary condition for seeing the rope. Only necessary or also sufficient? One must also know that a rope exists and looks like a snake. Similarly, one must know that the real exists and is of the nature of witness consciousness. Of course, it is beyond the witness, but to enter it, one must first realize the state of pure witnessing, pure awareness. The awareness of conditions brings one to the unconditioned. Can the unconditioned be experienced? To know the conditioned as conditioned is all that can be said about the unconditioned. Positive terms are mere hints and misleading. Can we talk of witnessing the real? How can we? We can talk only of the unreal, the illusory, the transient, the conditioned. To go beyond, we must pass through total negation of everything as having independent existence. All things depend. On what do they depend? On consciousness. And consciousness depends on the witness. And the witness depends on the real. The witness is the reflection of the real in all its purity. The witness, the awareness, is the reflection of the Parabrahman, of the real in all its purity. It depends on the condition of the mind. Where clarity and detachment predominate, the witness consciousness comes into being. It is just like saying that where the water is clear and quiet, the image of the moon appears, or like daylight that appears as sparkle in the diamond. Can there be consciousness without the witness? Without the witness, it becomes unconsciousness, just living. The witness is latent in every state of consciousness, just like light in every color. There can be no knowledge without the knower, and no knower without his witness. Not only you know, but you know that you know. You are aware of knowing. How can there be knowledge of the conditioned without the unconditioned? There must be a source, the absolute supreme, from which all this flows, a foundation, rock solid, on which all stands. Self-realization is primarily the knowledge of one's conditioning and the awareness that the infinite variety of conditions depends on our infinite ability to be conditioned and to give rise to variety. To the conditioned mind, the unconditioned appears as the totality as well as the absence of everything. Neither can be directly experienced, but this does not make it non-existent. Is it not a feeling? A feeling, too, is a state of mind. Just like a healthy body does not call for attention, so is the unconditioned free from experience. Take the experience of death. The ordinary man is afraid to die because he is afraid of change. The jnani is not afraid because his mind is dead already. He does not think, I live. He knows there is life. There is no change in it and no death. Death appears to be a change in time and space. Where there is neither time nor space, how can there be death? The jnani is already dead to name and shape. How can their loss affect him? The man in the train travels from place to place, but the man off the train goes nowhere, for he is not bound for a destination. He has nowhere to go, nothing to do, nothing to become. Those who make plans will be born to carry them out. Those who make no plans need not be born. I always feel like I could just keep going and going, but probably too much. The man in the train travels from place to place, A to B to C, but the man off the train goes nowhere, for he is not bound for a destination. No destination, nowhere to go, nothing to do, no one to become. Just pure being, here and now, always and everywhere. I am. I am, I exist, I am aware. Aliveness is present. Feel the aliveness. Feel the presence of being. Feel and sense the awareness, that changeless awareness, which is simply watching all change. That awareness isn't going anywhere. It is silent and still. It's not doing anything. It's not saying anything. And yet we could say it's vibrantly alive, alert, and awake. So rest as that awareness. Abide as awareness itself. Don't be a person trying to be awareness. Be awareness. Okay. Thank you, Nisargadatta. Thanks, everybody. See you again for another chapter. Bye-bye.